Hey everyone, welcome to the latest PC gaming news. CDProjekt is shifting most of its workforce towards the next chapter of The Witcher, which sounds promising for fans. On the less fortunate side, the game developer Certain Affinity announced layoffs, the first time in their history. There are reports that the studio behind the original Life is Strange Saga has 7 games in development. However, there is also news about the indie side of the industry. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of PC gaming. Certain Affinity, a game developer known for its work on Halo and Call of Duty, has announced a wave of layoffs affecting 25 US-based staff members, or around 10% of its workforce. The decision, made by CEO Max Hoberman, was driven by an industry-wide slowdown in funding for new lead and co-development projects, as well as a reluctance from third-party investors to fund games or game companies. Certain Affinity has been a key contributor to several notable titles over the past 17 years, including Halo, Infinite, Halo 4, and various multiplayer game modes and features. However, the current economic climate has made it challenging for the studio to secure new projects, ultimately leading the decision to let go of a portion of its team. The layoffs are the first in Certain Affinity's history, and the studio has expressed its commitment to supporting the affected employees during this transition. The gaming industry as a whole has been facing similar challenges, with other developers such as Supermassive Games, Cloud Imperium Games, Sega's Creative Assembly, and Hard Light also experiencing layoffs in recent times. Despite the setback, Certain Affinity remains dedicated to its craft and is working to navigate this unprecedented event as it continues to explore new opportunities in the ever-evolving gaming landscape. The company that made the popular Witcher video game series, CDProjekt, has announced that most of their developers are now working on a new Witcher game. This means that around 2/3 of all the people who work at CDProjekt are focused on creating the next game in the Witcher series. The Witcher games have been very successful, with the most recent one, The Witcher 3, being one of the best-selling and most critically acclaimed games of all time. It makes sense that CDProjekt would want to continue this successful franchise and have most of their team working on the next Witcher game, which is being called The Witcher 4 for now. This shows that CDProjekt sees a lot of potential in the Witcher series and wants to make it a priority. They are likely hoping that the next Witcher game will be just as popular and successful as the previous ones. By having so many of their developers focused on this one project, they can put a lot of time and effort into making it as good as possible. Of course, this also means that CDProjekt may not be working on as many other games or projects right now, since most of their resources are going towards The Witcher 4. But for fans of the Witcher series, this is likely good news, as it suggests the next game in the franchise will be a major focus for the company. Before we move on to the next news, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to join our Lemmy community. Just head to lemmy.ca/c/PC gaming. The link is also at the bottom of the screen and in the description, so be sure to bookmark it. Looking forward to having you as part of our community. It used to be easier for small game studios to get big deals with companies like Epic Games and Microsoft to help fund and promote their games. But now, those deals are drying up. Developers from popular indie games like Slay the Spire and Darkest Dungeon say they're seeing a lot of smaller game studios struggling to get the same kinds of deals they used to. The developers say they've talked to at least 5 small teams during a recent game conference, and all of them are reporting, I quote, cuts, cuts, cuts. Anyway, with deals being canceled, funding being pulled, and negotiations that were going on for a long time just suddenly ending, the developers say the gold rush is over for indie games. They compare it to what happened in the past when a town would get rich from a gold rush, only to have that end when an even bigger discovery was made somewhere else. The developers think maybe there's a new paradigm shift coming that could help indie games again, but for now, the big deals that used to be available just aren't there anymore. This is a problem for small game studios, because those deals help them make and promote their games, even before the games were finished. Without that safety net, it's a lot riskier for indie developers to create new games. The developers say they feel very privileged to be able to fund their own games. Otherwise, they would have a lot of reason to be afraid. A bunch of popular indie game studios are coming together to put on a special showcase called the III Initiative on April 10th. This includes studios behind games like Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire, Terraria, and Dead Cells. The goal of the III Initiative is to give these indie developers a chance to directly show off their latest games and announcements to players without all the extra fluff and hosting that you often see in big game showcases. The organizers say they want it to be a straight-to-the-point show that's just focused on the games. They're calling it the III Initiative because they think the term indie doesn't really capture the scope and success of some of these studios anymore. These games are bigger than a typical indie title, but not quite at the level of the biggest AAA games either. So III is their way of describing this in-between category. The showcase is going to be about 45 minutes long, and you'll be able to watch it live on YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms on April 10th. The developers involved are promising some big announcements and trailers that will really impress viewers. Overall, this seems like an exciting opportunity for indie game fans to get a direct look at some of the most acclaimed and anticipated titles coming from smaller studios. It's a chance for these developers to shine without getting overshadowed by the biggest gaming companies. The video game company Dontnod, known for making popular games like Life is Strange, has a lot of new games in the works. In total, they have 7 different games currently in development, and 4 of those games haven't been announced or revealed to the public yet. The 4 unannounced games are part of Dontnod's plan to focus on 3 main areas of game development: narrative adventure games, action-adventure games, and role-playing games, RPGs. They want to specialize in these different types of games and get really good at making them. Some of the games we do know about include a new Life is Strange-style game called Lost Records, Bloom, as well as a musical, hand-drawn adventure game called Korra. There's also an unnamed project being made with another game studio called Tiny Bull Studios. The CEO of Dontnod, Oscar Gilbert, says they are trying to avoid making the really big, expensive AAA games that a lot of other major game companies focus on. Instead, they want to make more AA-level games, which are a bit smaller in scale, but still high quality. This will hopefully make it easier for them to manage their game development and avoid having to make tough decisions down the line. That's all for now. We hope you enjoyed our video as much as we did making it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future uploads. As always, thank you for your incredible support. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!